فلذلك فادع واستقم كما أمرت ولا تتبع أهواءهم وقل آمنت بما أنزل الله من كتاب.
الحمد لله وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. So I've been asked a lot by many individuals about the process of actually getting into Azhar. And so the actual process of the application process is simple, but also you'll probably end up running around in circles just a little bit, and there's nothing that anyone can do about that, just because of the nature of the Egyptian systems. In general, they will usually run you back and forth for something that's missing. So you should always expect that and have a little bit of patience coming into it. But in general, the first thing that someone does when they want to do this, they'll go to Baruth. And they'll go to Medinat al-Baruth, which is or it will be the Islamic mission city. And this is in Cairo. And so they can take if you're taking a bus from Medina to Nasr, you'll take a bus that normally will say Darrasa. And so you take the bus from Darrasa, and then you'll get to a place where it's Medinat al-Baruth. And you can look this up on you can look this up on Google Maps, and it's on Google Maps, and you can see it. It will also say Islamic Mission City. And so this is the place that you'll go, and there's an office there that you'll go, and you'll go in there. Make sure that you have some of the paperwork, and I'll leave a link on the bottom of this video so that you can see some of the things that will be required of you for going into there. And you'll go in there, and you'll get your you'll apply for Dirasat Khasa. And when you go to Dirasat Khasa, this is a ma'had. So this is like a language center, which is basically there to make sure whoever's coming into Azhar, they have the ability to understand Arabic, because of course this is all going to be taught in Arabic. And so if you can't understand Arabic, you're going to be lost, and you're not going to be able to understand what's going on. So they kind of want to weed out the people that don't understand Arabic until they know Arabic, so they give them the classes and whatnot to get that. But I don't recommend people to go start off in Medina don't start off if you don't know Arabic yet. Then go learn Arabic first. Go through one of the other markaz, whether it's from the famous markaz like Fajr or Furqan or Ibana or some of these other, or Lisan al-Arab, which I mentioned before in a previous video. And these are go through one of these programs, or at least go through the Bani Yadayk program with a private teacher. If you go through these things, this will be much better for you, and make sure you've at least finished most of Bani Yadayk. You should have finished Bani Yadayk, and you should have finished some of the things that I mentioned before in a previous video, so that you don't waste your time inside of the system. But first, you'll going back to the application process. The application process, there's no set time for you to apply. You apply at any time, and whenever you do get into the process, you'll then get set up through a couple different levels of placement tests. The first placement test will be for Dirasat Khasa, which is that language school before going into the actual schooling system of Azhar. And while you're waiting for that first placement test, they'll probably give you, they'll probably say that you need to come to the Kutab, or the place for Quran memorization. So they'll have a teacher that's there in the afternoon, and it'll be a few days a week, and you go there and you can sit in there, memorize Quran. He'll also teach some tajweed and whatnot, and you get a chance to recite Quran on a sheikh. This is something that's good. I don't know if they take attendance. When I was there, they didn't take attendance. This was about a year and a half ago, or 2 years ago. They didn't take attendance at that point in time. So if I made it, I made it, and if I didn't make it, there weren't nothing held against me. But this is why you're waiting for that first placement test. The first placement test, they will have a series of questions when it comes to Arabic. So it's all going to be Arabic, and it's going to be easy Arabic. If you've done Bani Yadayk, you should be fine. You should be okay. And of course, if you've done look into the other video that I mentioned, what you should know in Arabic before coming into Azhar. And go refer to that, and this will be that first level that you go into. So you should be able to listen, you should be able to read, you should be able to write, you should be able to understand when you're talking to somebody, be able to talk to somebody, hold a little bit of a conversation. Even if you make mistakes, they don't care. And the important thing is that you can actually understand what they're saying, and you can reply to them and make sure that they understand what you mean. And so this is that first level of testing, and this is only Arabic. And so the second level, if you do well in this, then you'll be put automatically into the testing for I'dadi. And they might have changed a little bit. They might have said that you need to take a few, when I was there, they would put me automatically into I'dadi. But they might say that there's some classes that you need to take at the end for a little period before going into that placement test. But then you'll have the placement test for I'dadi. And the placement test for I'dadi, there's a lot of things that will be covered, whether in regards to all of the different ulum al-sharia. So this is something that you'll need to have covered a lot of these different ulum. And when it comes to I'dadi as well as Thanawi, so if you pass, let's say you pass all of the I'dadi very well, then you'll be put into a placement. You'll be waiting for a placement test and Thanawi. And if you pass this, you'll get to the second level of Thanawi. This is the best that you can get. There's no third. The third year you can take it in Musabaqa, which is kind of like putting together. And so you take the test for the third year without doing any of the classes, and this saves a lot of time. And so this is the best that you can do. But what's going to be actually what you need to have studied for these, I'll make a separate video for what you need to have studied for these last two placement tests. When you take these last two placement tests, which will cover a lot of different subjects, then when you come into the second year, if you did the best, you'll come into the second year of Thanawi, and this is the goal. If you make it here, then wherever you are, whenever the test ends, say you had your test in January, and then you get the results in February, and then you have the finals in, what is that, like May or something, or April. You have the finals in April. They'll put you straight into the last, they'll put you wherever you entered. And even if you haven't taken the previous, like the previous classes, you haven't been there, then you'll take the classes for whatever is remaining, and you'll take the last test, and you'll also take the test for the first semester. And when you take the test for the first semester, make sure you read over the material, and the material is not super hard, but if you've already studied it, then it should be like kind of review, and then you can look over it and you can kind of skim over the parts that are very familiar to you, and then you can focus on the parts that are new and whatnot. But of course, if you are crunched for time, then kind of try to make sure you give a lot more precedence to like the mulakhas at the end of every single bab. You can look at that, and that will help you save your time, and so you can test well. And then you'll test, and at the very end, you'll test out for that. And so when should you apply? Like anytime you feel that you're ready, or you feel that you're almost ready to go through, then go ahead and apply. And then you'll have that process where you apply at both. They'll also ask you for like a blood test and whatnot. You'll have to go to the Mustashfa Hussein, like the Hussein hospital. You have to go there, get your blood test worked out and whatnot, and running back and forth getting some of the papers that they want. I'll leave a link to to one of the websites that is helpful for someone to know what they need when they're going into this, and that will inshallah help you with that. But there's always going to be papers I'm missing. For like, I always try not to leave anything whenever I go to do any paperwork and whatnot. Always try to have copies of your passport, have personal pictures for yourself, and they'll always be expected to be sent to somewhere else. And try your best when you are dealing with the people in the office work. A lot of times they will not care, and this is the reality of the situation. Like in Egypt and whatnot, a lot of them, they don't care, and they're not there to help you. They're there to for their job. Allah Mustaan. And they will run you over to somebody else, and they can do the job. So try to make sure that you are 100% sure that this person cannot do what you're looking for before you go to someone else. Because a lot of times these people will run you to another person. That person will run you back to the other person. I had a time where I was going from this person to this person. This person said, I don't have that paper. The only person that has it is this person. I went to this person. He said, I don't know. And he's like, I don't know. Go back to him. And they ran me back and forth until I stood in front of this person, until he got very annoyed. He went back to his office. He opened up the book, and he said, go find your name in there. I found my name. And then like terrible. The guy had my name the whole time. He just didn't want to open it up and look. And this is the reality of the situation with some of these people. These people will run you back and forth from person to person, so you need to have a little bit of patience, and also be willing to be willing to stand your ground until you make sure that this person knows what you need, and you know that this person can't do what you know that you need to do, and you know who you need to go to from this person that you're asking. So this is part of the. There's no easy way. There's no easy way to Azhar, but there are some ways that, and so these are some tips I can give you that can help you, with your dealing with these people. And sometimes you just need to. I'm kind of a more soft person when it comes to these people. I had to, sometimes I have to raise my voice just a little bit to get across the point that I'm not going to just keep running back and forth between you guys. One of you's got to do it. Or I'm going to your boss, and then your boss is going to tell me who's the one that's going to actually do the job. Wallahu musta'an. So this is the general principle. In review, you're going to go to birth. You're going to go there with your paperwork, whatever papers that you have, with the copies of your passport, with personal pictures, and they're going to give you a paper. You're going to fill out the application, and then after you fill out the application, and this is for Durasta Khasa. And then after the Durasta Khasa, once they say they accept your application and whatnot, and you get the blood work and whatnot done for them, you go to the hospital and come back and get all that done, then you'll get into Durasta Khasa. You'll have a test that's a placement test for that. And while you're waiting, you'll probably have classes that they'll throw you in. And then while you're waiting for the I'dadi, like say you pass that, while you're waiting for I'dadi, you'll have placement. You'll have probably like classes they'll have you have to give. They'll have to get you ready for the placement tests. And if they're taking attendance, just try to figure out, are they taking attendance or are they not taking attendance? And if they are taking attendance, then you'll go, or see like how much can I go, or how much do I have to be there. And if they're not taking attendance, then you choose. If sometimes your time is going to be better used with an actual teacher and you learning stuff for yourself than sitting with them. And I found that with a lot of times that I can make better use of my time by myself studying or with my own teachers than sitting in classes with them. And so then also after you go through this period, you'll have the I'dadi exams, which put you in a placement test, and you should pass this. And like if you don't pass this, then you're going to be stuck for years, and for at least like 2 or 3 years. And so you should pass this, and then also the Thanawi. And then once you take the Thanawi exam, you should get into the second year if you're doing well. And then when you get into the second year, then then you'll get into, then they'll put you in the actual high school and whatnot. And if you're over 30 years old, then they have a special thing for you, and that is they have its Kibar Sin. It's a special program that's specifically so you, like someone who's over 30, they can go into a program that's not like a high school setting. And I wish I would have known about that, but I went through the high school setting, and then I found out they have the Kibar Sin for someone who's 30. I thought it was like someone who's like 40 or 50 or something like that. But so this is, but it's for someone who's 30, and it's its own program. It's separate, but I think they still go through a lot of the same things. But I don't know if they break it into Thanawi and I'dadi. It's a little bit different, and from what I understand. Allah Ta'ala a'lam. Sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in.
فلذلك فادع واستقم كما أمرت ولا تتبع أهواءهم وقل آمنت بما أنزل الله من كتاب وأمرت لأعدل بينكم الله ربنا وربكم لنا أعمالنا ولكم أعمالكم لا حجة بيننا وبينكم الله يجمع بيننا وإليه المصير.